Thank you very much for attending a session yesterday on starting up. I was just wondering, what was the one thing that you took away from the session yesterday?
I think the most important thing was the selling process. As we all know, a business needs to know who is its customer, but as important as it is, the selling process is also important as well. So you taught us the process that we need to think through each step. It's not only just thinking about how to communicate, but you need to think through all aspects of it in order to make it a complete and effective sale process. As well as in terms of failure, if we know that at which point a business could fail, then we could also be aware if we want to start our own business. And we know which stage are we at. Yeah, so I think that was really useful.
Thank you. Aod, what about you?
About me, I think I was sales for the whole life, but this is the first time that I learned sales from you, which is very practical, which is very non-theory. This can be used, and something that I forgot. Now I just realized that I have to focus on that also. I have to focus on the customer, the really need of the customer, what they need. That is very important. I have to tell myself all the time about this.
Thank you. How does what we did yesterday on the selling for startup session help you with your current assignment and engagement?
Well, an assignment that I'm working on, one of the goals is to determine who's the target market. So it's not really about, we know who the customer is, but sometimes we actually forget how to communicate to them. It's not about developing an IMC plan, that's all, but it's really at the core of how do we actually communicate. The selling process, what is the plot of the story, understanding the customer's pain, trying to understand the entire perspective, not just looking from just one perspective, I guess.
So multi-dimensions.
Yeah. So it's not just, okay, you know who the customer is, so you just go out and sell. There's an actual process if you want to sell something. Yeah, so I think that is how it helped. Yeah.
Okay, good. You've just finished a master's in marketing and strategy from Warwick, right? And I think just out of natural curiosity, how does what we did differ or varies from what you recently covered in a very well-respected program?
I guess in all academic programs in university, we tend to we need to have a strong theory-based knowledge first. So I think that was what I learned more about. We did a lot of case studies, but it added the practical aspect, but it's not really just one. It doesn't simplify what is the most important thing if we want to start a business. What do you need to think about first? It's so we did a lot of things in bits and pieces rather than in just one course that actually conclude everything. These are the key things that you get to use, and it's important if you want to start a business. Yeah, so I think yesterday's course kind of simplify and made it practical at the same time. Yeah.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, but but it would be too much to say that this is something, the sessions that we did yesterday sort of brought it all together.
Yeah, I think so. It wasn't like your slides, the words, it wasn't hard to understand. It was really simple. And I think it's just the way you arranged the idea that made it seem logical. And it completed the entire scope of from the beginning until the selling, and what were the failure that you could face and how to face that. So I think it covered the most practical aspect of you starting a business.
Just one last question before we wrap up. If you were to go out and recommend this session to a classmate or a peer or a friend, what would you say to them? Come to the session because
I would say you should come to this session because you realize that when you actually start a business, you might forget the most important thing, that you just kind of ignore it. You know, okay, it's the selling process, but you don't really know how to actually do it in real life. You know all the theories and this, but in real life it's different. Yeah, so I think if you want to start a business, you should definitely come. It would be very beneficial for you. Yeah.
Thank you. And Aod, if you were to go out and recommend it,
I will recommend them to join your course, because this is a practical course that when they want to start a business, they should go to this course in order to make sure that they understand the whole thing before they start. And it is very important in order to avoid the failure in the future.
Okay, great. Aod and Jenny, thank you very much for your very, very generous feedback.